Hello, this is Adam Lodestone, and today I'm going to be talking about this. And this is something that I believe in, absolutely, that we are, in essence, yes, characters being played by God, that we are fragments of the divine, fulfilling an intention and a purpose that allows God, source, fill in the blank, with your name for that isness, to recognize and understand itself, and it has to do so through relationship. And so I'm looking at patterns of incarnation and how it is that we arrive in a lifetime and begin to recognize who we've been, where we've come from. So this is me, here and now, today, in the present day. And as you can see, I have very particular kinds of features. I have very light hair. It used to be red, and now it's kind of silver. I have very pale skin, and I look very, European. Irish, Scots, Northern European. Those are definitely the places where this body has its heritage. Comes packaged in the genes. And here is an image of me from about just a little over a year and a half ago. And at this point in time, I had grown out some facial hair. And when I took this picture and saw it and really looked at it, I recognized myself. I really recognized myself for the first time. And I wondered, why is that so? Why is this face so familiar? These features, what is it that's being held here in energetics that matters? I felt like there was some kind of key or clue here that I was supposed to be paying attention to. And so I did, and I began opening myself up to try to find out what it is that I was supposed to be understanding or remembering. So I thought back to a period of time where I was doing a lot of artwork, and this piece came through in the year 2001 when I was living in Key West, and my creativity had just kind of exploded. I was filling several sketchbook pages a day. This piece was a portrait that felt a bit like a self-portrait, but I didn't have any context for it. It was associated for me with the likes of the poetry of Rumi, and it's called The Mystic. And I recognized in here some kind of subtleties of a story of the exotic features of this man, where he's very Middle Eastern, and yet at the same time there are those eyes. And I never really knew if they were supposed to be violet, but I knew that they were supposed to be something that marked him as different, as other, not quite belonging to the people that he lived among or had been raised by. And so that I knew as kind of a sub-context, and I ended up posting this image online, and Andy recognized it, and what became clear to us was that here was the context. This is the city of Petra. And 2,000 years ago, in our prime incarnation, this is where we lived. This is the setting for that lifetime for us. Andy's people, among many other things, were the leaders of a caravan, and they were involved in the spice trade. And there is this question for us about my parentage, because I am not of these same people. My mother was someone who became absorbed somehow or adopted by or taken into this tribe, and she comes from someplace else. I know that she was a healer, that she had a really refined knowledge of herbal medicine and the healing arts, but I don't have any sense of where she came from or who she was. We also have no idea about my paternity. We were told something that became known to us as a sort of insertion about that, and so now the question of my paternity is again in question, somehow connected to the spice trade and to spirituality and to the very unique spiritual customs of the people of Petra. And so these questions are lingering there. We have pieces of a puzzle that we can't complete, but I am supposed to be following these clues and paying attention. And so I'm brought back to this idea of Where is it that I come from? What are my roots? Why does this face seem to symbolize who I was back then? Andy was given a vision of Cat Stevens, who I don't have a picture of at this present moment, but this is a fairly close representation. The features are very similar, as we can see, but this is not who I am now. This is what I looked like 2,000 years ago. This is Michael Gablicki. He is the lead singer of Rusted Root. And I posted this here because I posted 2 videos today. One was Rusted Root's Send Me On My Way, and the other was a video by John Butler, the Australian musician. This is him. And what I recognized when I was watching the videos was that I have always been attracted to men who have these kinds of features. It's their facial structure, their hair, the facial hair, their build, their energetics. And I wondered why. Because it's not a sexual attraction, it's not a romantic attraction, it's not actually an attraction for other. I finally recognized today that it was an attraction based on recognition of this. That I was actually seeing myself. There was something of my own energetics there, and these were clues. The attraction was a clue, a living, energetic thread from the present all the way back to the past. And that I was supposed to be paying attention to those clues in order to find out and discover and reclaim more of those pieces, in order to create the whole of the puzzle and make sense of it. So this is an image that came to me recently, and I was just astonished when I saw this face, because here again is immense recognition. This is about as close as we're going to get to what I looked like in our prime incarnation. And there are those eyes. There's something exotic here, something other. And the name that was associated with this face in that prime incarnation was Habib. And Habib means honey, sweetheart, beloved. And so we've been able to pick up a thread of some kind of continuity here, because both the name and the association of certain features carried by certain people are bringing us closer and closer to the truth of the past. So here, in this sweetness of being able to explore the past through signs and symbols that come to me in the present, I believe that I will be led to the truth, and eventually the secrets that are still being held will be revealed. So I thank you very much for following me through this exploration, and please do ask questions and make comments, because I'd really like to continue the dialogue. Again, thank you for your time. Namaste.